Hi guys, welcome to season 2 to Finding Happiness with Jasmine. Enjoy this episode and let me know what you think. Hi, I am Kaydian and I am the CEO founder of Luv Thy Self. My childhood was so fun. It was so nice. I was born in Jamaica. The place, as you know, is a beautiful sunny place. When we were younger, we would just walk around barefoot, walk up and down. After school, we'd go and climb a tree, pick a mango, pick an orange. And my childhood was so free. It was so liberating. There was no stress at all. It was just so lovely just growing up in a place where you feel so secure and so safe. And that's how I remember growing up in Jamaica. My mother was so patient. She is patient, and she's so kind and humble. And she always taught us how to be respectful, how to love others, and how to carry yourself. When my mother left Jamaica, she came by herself first. She came here about 2 to 3 years before us so that she can, set a standard for her children them to come over. And she brought us here eventually. All three of us came together on a plane, very young, in 1999. And then our mom raised us so well, especially being a single parent. And she was working at a hair salon. She was a cleaner. She was everything. My mom did a good job raising 3 beautiful black kids in the best way possible. And that's how my mother is. And then when I came to England when I was about 10, I realized that so many changes, like the culture shock was amazing. Even at school, like the way how the children spoke to the teachers, how the kids talk to their mom, it was a major shock. I did not feel safe or as free as I did when I was growing up back home. Like, you didn't have the freedom of even going to your neighbor's house. You can, even if you want to go to the beach, you can just get up and go to the beach. It's not the same, because you know that this weather over here is just like very sad and gray. Funny enough, I didn't know what racism was until I came here. It was a very interesting thing to see, because back in Jamaica, we had like Indians, Chinese, and whites. But when I was young, I didn't realize that they were different skin color to me. But it was only when I came here I understood what racism was. My mother, she instilled good principles to her children on how to behave wherever you go. And that's one thing I give to my mom about being very respectful to your elders. So, and then I saw how my mom struggled a lot, just being a single parent, where she had to fend for herself and fend for her children. And I believe that there are days when she wouldn't eat, where in order for us to eat, she was working as a hairdresser, as a cleaner. I think she was getting about 50 pounds a week. Only God knows how she made that money stretch. So, but that's a black parent for you. They know how to turn water into wine. Literally, they know how to turn water into wine. So I love dancing. I love the culture of dance. I think the reason why I love to dance so much is because I wasn't a very expressive child. So I have come to love the art of dancing because I always feel that it just releases things that I can't say. So I fell in love with dance. So I started off as a street dancer, and then I was getting bored. I'm like, let me challenge myself. So I decided to go to the London School of Ballet, and I started jazz, contemporary, tap, modern, and then from there I fell in love. And within 2 years of me going to the School of Ballet, I just went on my point shoes, because she was saying it would take me 5 years. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that in 5 years. I'm gonna do that in 2 years. So I've always had a very strong mindset. That's one thing about me, and that's what I got from my mom. I also love fashion. I love creating, especially like African attire, because that's my heritage, that's where I came from. I am African, that was born in Jamaica. So I loved how I just loved how um I was into the fashion, and then I was being approached by one or two fashion designers that wanted me to display my my art on live TV. I was getting ready for that, and also in my dancing, I was going around different places, like even in like theaters, and I was performing, and that was the happiest time of my life where I was finally able to express Kaydian in the best way possible, and that's through the art of dance. Also, what made Kaydian is her finding herself in God, um, finding who I am. Because with me or with women, we all have certain insecurities, and it's only God and loving yourself that really can, you know, transform you. And God just came in and He just showed me how beautiful I am, and that's something that cannot be taken away. How I would class or how I will put my relationship with God is that it's not a religion. It's not based on what I can do for Him, but it's based on His grace towards me, how He loves me unconditionally, and how He favors me. Me understanding how God's care and agape is just makes me realize how special I am. His undying love does really turn me into, it turned me into a proper woman. If it wasn't for Him, I wouldn't be where I am today. Like literally, I wouldn't be who I am. I would not be this woman standing in front of you speaking. God's love is so powerful. It is so amazing. And once you understand someone, or once you love someone, it will be so much easier to just comply to the things that they say, because they are looking out for your own interests. They put things in order, so because it's for your protection. This is just like a parent. A parent wouldn't want you to make bad decisions, so there are certain things that like you have to put in order so that you make the right choices in life. So life took a turn in 2011 when I started to realize certain things was happening to my body. I can't forget when I was dancing, and then my knee came out. It just came out of place, and I was like, oh, nah. And then maybe 3 months later, it happened again, and that's when I was like, oh, something ain't right. And then I couldn't dance again for a long time, and then I tried to dance again. It just wouldn't happen. And then I just got in a bad case of depression. I got in a bad case of just feeling low, like I'm not worthy, or I'm not worth it. I was 25 at the time, and that's the time where I'm supposed to be living my best life. So I was just in a bad place where I couldn't walk, I couldn't stand, I couldn't even lift up my neck. That's how severe it was. And it ended up being more than a year. It turned out to be for 3 years. And the situation was just getting worse and worse and worse. And I didn't know what to do. So my mommy, she sent me to different doctors, to different charity places or special places. And they told my mom that I would never walk again. Give God thanks that my mom never told me this. She's like, right, we are going to really work on your body, Kaydian. We're going to really work on your body. And it sounds so simple. It sounds so easy. I can forget the time when I was literally at home and I had to cook. I had to be standing up over the stove and then sitting down to stir the actual stove, because I couldn't stand for more than 10, maybe 20 seconds. And in order for me to get out of bed, I had to really brace myself out and then get on a skating board and move from room to room on my actual skating board. And the depression was so severe to the point where I couldn't even show up on my, like maybe 3 or 4 days, because it was so bad. And there was a time where I was sitting down in my actual living room. I felt like my brain was about to break down. Like my nerves was about to take over. But I said to myself, no kidding, you're gonna fight this. And I literally had the phone right next to me just in case I needed to call my mom to say, Mom, you need to take me into a mental home because I can't manage. And it got so severe to the point where I used to sleep with a knife underneath my bed just in case I wanted to kill myself. It didn't make sense at the time, but I just did it because I thought, yeah, this is my life forever. Who would want to be with a woman like me or a young girl like me that can't walk, that can't stand, that can't do nothing, and that's in constant pain, where I used to wake up in the middle of the night in constant pain. Like between 1 o'clock, I wake up crying because the pain was so severe. And that's when everything changed. And I had to really question, God, do you actually love me? God, do you love, is this, I've been called to change people's life. I've been called to heal people. And this is me sitting down here for 3 years, Jesus. This is it. This is me. So I was questioning my king. Is this what you really call me for? But looking back, because there's a saying that says, things don't make sense when you look forward, but it's when you look back, that's when all the puzzles comes piece by piece. I was diagnosed with hypermobility, which is a genetic issue of the joints or of the collagen, where I have too many collagen in my body. So that means that I am hyperflexible. So me doing ballet and me being hyperflexible, that means that I was overtly flexible. So hence why my knee would come out of socket, because there isn't nothing much holding it up. So that was the first diagnosis. And then as the time went on, I had my vertebrae were fused together. So I couldn't even lift up my neck for like 3 months. And I had also muscle weakness or deterioration, where my brain didn't recognize my thighs anymore, my thigh muscle. So obviously I couldn't move. And I had wear and tear of the patella of my knee. So I had an old person's knee. That's what they said. So there was a lot of things that I was diagnosed with. And the physical pain that came with it was like about a 10 out of 10. And in the nights, it would get worse. The weakness was so severe that I couldn't even lift up my arm. I couldn't lift up my neck. I couldn't even sit up because the weakness was so severe that I had to be laid down constantly. And because I was laid down constantly and I was not using my muscle, that would be more weakness on top of it. So it was just a bad cycle of getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And because I was in an environment where I was not getting no sun at all, no vitamin D, so my body couldn't regenerate itself. The emotional pain, especially as a young girl that's 25, that's supposed to be living her life. I was in bed, my friends would call me, yeah, Kay, I'm in Spain, I'm going to France. And I'm just there like, wow, God, you really messed me up this time. Like you really messed me up. I'm here for 3 years looking at this window, looking at this gray clouds. Like, who am I? Who am I? No purpose, no value, nothing. What have you? I was empty. What man would want to be with a woman that can't stand, that can't? In my head, I thought maybe if I do overseas relationship, that would work better for me, because at least that man would not see me. At least we won't have to go on dates. At least we don't have to, do physical things like, go on dates, go on walks. So that was my option, overseas dating, because no man would ever want to spend time with me. So my value was -10, because everything that I loved, I've lost. I've lost. My skin was a mess. My hair was falling out. I was I was a healthy size 8, and I was a size 4, like skinny size 4, like muscle wastage size 4. My clothes couldn't fit me. Whenever I put on my clothes, I would get so sad because my clothes would not fit me. Nothing to say that I was a woman. No breasts, no thighs, no hips, no glutes, nothing to say that I was feminine. So I've lost all of my femininity. I've lost all my confidence. I've lost all of my value. Everything that I believed in was gone. So I was just an empty wreck. I was an empty wreck. And only God knew, hence why the suicide thoughts was there, because I didn't have nothing to live for. Who would want to see me? Who would want to spend time with me? What can I do? What value do I have to the world when I can't do nothing? I was very angry with God. I'm like, God, you said that you loved me. You told me, you talked to me personally, Kaydian, that I'm going to call you to do this. And whenever persons see me, they always tell me that I'm special. Not one person that would come to me and tell me that I am not special. And I knew what that meant. Special as in like a special gift. But here is the funniest thing. During that time, me being in that desolate, that valley of the shadow of death, when I was in that grave, I can't forget, I was in bed crying, but there was nothing coming out. All I did was tear my t-shirt because there was nothing coming out. But during that season, all I was doing was just researching food, how food is good for joints, how herbs is good for this. That's all I was doing. I was doing research on food because the doctors, they didn't know what to do with me. They were like, even if we had surgery, even if we do surgery on you, you will not survive because you are too flexible, you are too weak, so you will not heal. So they left me. They're like, okay, just go home and be disabled for the rest of your life. They left me. So I went to different doctors after doctors after doctors. They didn't know what to do. So my mom was like, no. It came to the point where I couldn't eat for 3 days. And my mom was like, nope, something ain't right. She took me to a herbalist and a doctor. When I met that person, my life changed completely. It changed. That's when I started to understand food, health, and how it affects your body. And even your actual mental state, how these 3 factors affect your body. That's when everything changed. So I did a 360 on my diet. I did a 360. And then I had to go back home to Jamaica and get the sun, get the fresh, the best food. And I was in the countryside. So I was getting the best and the most fertile foods possible. And looking back now, I was loved. I was loved, and I didn't realize. Never once did I starve. Never once was I hungry, even though I didn't want to eat. Never once, even though the fear was severe. Because if I got up, I would fear that my knees would come out. Imagine me trying to go in, like me going in a bath and can't walk. Imagine me getting up. Imagine the fear. So before I got up, it takes me 15 minutes at least to actually get up because I had to get myself mentally ready. But looking back, I was loved, and I didn't know that God was training me for this day and such a time as this. Because I look so okay from the outside whenever persons used to see me. This is before things got really severe. Like this was in like the 2nd, 3rd year. I was still walking on the crutch, and they were like, Kaydian, why are you on a crutch? The crutch is making it worse. It's all in your head. That's what I kept on hearing. And I kept on hearing, Kaydian, when will it be healed? And I said, I am healed already. Even though the fear was severe, and I was like, God, you don't love me. I've lost a lot of friends that I thought that were friends, but the true friends stood up, and I saw them for who they are. So that's gonna lead me to my actual support system. I had my mother, my sister, my best friend, and my dad / pastor, and a few other persons that was really encouraging, checking up on me. And if it wasn't for them, I would not be where I am today. Like my best friend Michelle Dalco, she took me to the airport. She took me into the airport in a wheelchair. My dad took me to the airport in a wheelchair. I had to be in a wheelchair just to go to Jamaica, and I came out walking. So my support system was great. It wasn't, this is why I don't believe in numbers. I had bare friends. I had a whole heap of friends, and then it subsided to about 6, 7, 8. But that system was even great. So I was blessed to know that they can call me, they would help me clean, they'll help me cook. Because people have their own lives, and I do understand that. And everyone is going through their own things, you know. But I had a good support system. Healing. We all think, oh, pray, heal today. No. Everyone's healing process is different. My healing took 3 years plus. And it's still a working process. Because there are times that I'll be working out with like, oh, my knee, oh, be careful. So there's still like a fear there. But my healing process took me over 3 years because I had to learn a lot of things. I had to learn about the food that God provided for us. When God made man, he put everything in place, right? So whatever ailments that you have, God put it in the land for you to go and search for it. I had to learn about how you feel will affect your body, because your brain will listen to you. Like it says, there's power in the tongue. There's life and death in the tongue. And whatever you believe, your body will manifest it, because your brain cannot tell the difference between inside and outside reality. So if you feel a bit anxious, what's going to happen? Your heart is going to be like, because your brain is listening to you. So my healing process took 3 years. A lot of people ask me, Kaydian, ain't you better yet? I'm like, whatever. Because in my heart, I trusted. But what people don't understand is that your trial is your servant. So my trial led me to where I am today. After the healing took place, I made a promise to myself that I would never go back to that place again. Never go back to that place. So I had my journey of going vegan, pescatarian, raw vegan. And then I found out about balance. The balance of life, the balance of just being a Christian, the balance of being a woman, and the balance in eating. And I also love exercising, because it just releases such happy hormones. I just love looking after myself. Self-care is very important. Like, looking after yourself is a great example of how you see yourself. And this is what a lot of persons don't understand. The way how you see yourself is the way how you will look after yourself. I value this body, because this body is carrying the Spirit of God, and I want to nurture it. And if I'm not at my best, or if I'm not at my optimum, if I'm sick all the time, I cannot do what God has called me to do. And that is where my happiness is coming from. Looking after me, giving God respect, and showing him, God, thank you. You have given me this body, and I want to respect it, and I want to look after it. Because there's a lot of people out there that don't know what I know, and I want to be well and capable so I can tell them. So exercising, meditation, eating right, juicing, self-care, looking after my skin, my body, my nails, looking after everything, just creating a balance. And these are the things that really makes me who I am. So my company now is called Luv Thy Self. where it teaches you how to love your body in a way where the world teaches us that we shouldn't. And the scripture comes from 3 John 1 verses 2, where it says that I hope that good health finds you. Because being healthy it should be your number one priority. Looking after the body that God has given you should be your number one priority. So my services that I offer to you is where I look at you from a holistic point of view, from your background, from current situations, lifestyle changes, or anything that has happened to you. And that's where I come in, and I just look at you and I examine you, and then I will have to go back and see what is the best route for you as an individual, because no one is ever the same. No one is ever the same. The same way how I found my healing through alternative medicine is the same way how anybody can, but they just don't know where to start. And that's where I come in and I give you a helping hand as to which path you should take or what path is best for you. So loving yourself is also a rebellion against what the world tells us that we should focus on, focus on the actual physicality, but we forget to focus on the inner man too. The inner man, if you are not at peace, what is going to happen? You might have tension, headache, you might cannot sleep, you just feel anxious. So looking after your inner man is so important, especially at a time like this. It is so, and we have lost value looking after the inner man, because it is a part of you. It is a part of you, and that thing lasts forever. It lasts forever. So it's all about finding a balance, looking after the outer man, looking after the inner man, looking after the actual mental state, which is so important. And Love Thyself is all about balancing you as a person, you as an individual. My encouragement to everyone is never give up. Don't lose hope. What you're going through today, you don't know where it's going to take you like in 3 years. So do not despise what you are actually going through. Love yourself as much as you can. Just be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself, because it's you. Look after the people that loves you, and just cherish the people that is around you. I would like to say a thank you to my mom. She's been so patient, she's been so kind, and she's heaven sent. She has taught me so many things, and because of her I have never lacked. And even in this day and age, I'm still not lacking. Thank you to my sister Kaydian for always trying to encourage me, making me laugh during the hardest time. Thank you to Michelle Darko for being the best friend that the world could ask for, taking me to the airport when I came back to work. When I was struggling, you used to take me back home on a Saturday after work because I was so weak. Thank you to my pastor / dad that's always been there for me, encouraging me, making sure that I'm well, taking me to the airport. You've been so patient, and you have shown me how a father should be. So I'm grateful to all of you. And don't forget to love yourself.
Thank you so much for watching this episode. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe, and let me know what you think. Don't forget to also click the notification button for more stories. Stay tuned.